bike. Welcome bike, welcome bike. Coming to you live from the capital city. It's your boy Immaculate. That's Mac for short. It's been a long day. We're gonna get to it. Got some things lined up to talk about. Here on another episode of Over the Top with Mac and Bubs. Let's get to it. I can't say that I'm a fan of the shakeup, you know? All they really do is try to correct their mistakes, right? They take a bunch of wrestlers from one show and they put them on the other show that they're not on. But they don't take everybody, they just mix it up to try to give you new rivalries and new tag teams. But what ends up happening every single time, what ends up happening is it ruins good rivalries and breaks up good tag teams. So what's the point, really? I mean, the Superstar Shakeup is a thing because WWE bought out their competition. And since they bought out the competition, they had to make different brands of the same product. The nerve of Pacific Union. Got a train coming when I'm trying to talk. But never mind them, it's not about that. With the shakeup, they try to mix up the veterans, what show they're on. New talent comes. You get a mixing of the pot, per se.
What up, Mac? What up, everybody watching? Sitting here in my new comfy chair. I got some pizza rolls, Mountain Dew. I'm ready to talk about this Superstar Shakeup we just had in the WWE. Now let's start off, like Mac was doing, breaking down what I really think about this so-called shakeup. I don't like it. I don't like anything about it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no rules. They're just like, oh, here's so-and-so. Now he's on Raw. Then, oh, we'll just throw this person out there. And at the end of the night, they even give us some names of some guys that they didn't even talk about on Raw or SmackDown. There needs to be some sort of rules, some rhyme or reason. How are they making these decisions? You know, at least back in the day, they had the little roulette wheel that they would spin and pop out a name. Be like, oh my goodness, so-and-so's coming to Raw, you know. Do something to where, you know, maybe there's, you know, trading and negotiating. Show us some of that. They just need to do a better job of letting the fans really understand what the shakeup is all about. Poorly done. They do it really quickly, just throwing people out there. They're trying to throw a lot of people at you at one time. So I don't really care for the shakeup. I understand it. I understand that we need to see different guys face off against each other from week to week. We need to see some different title defenses. We need to have, you know, something new every now and then in the WWE. I get that. I just wish there was something new and exciting because they hype up the shakeup. They've been hyping up the shakeup for months. And then it comes around and it's the same thing every year. Just terrible. Doesn't make any sense. They just throw guys here and there. But I guess they accomplish what they want to accomplish. They get new matchups. They get new superstars facing off against each other. New rivalries. So in that case, it is successful, but I just wish there was more to it. Don't hype it up for months like they have been doing, and then give me this weak product that it ends up becoming, where they're just throwing guys, oh, boop, boop, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. I need some more structure in my life. My man, pizza rolls never get old. I can eat pizza rolls all day. But that's besides the point. Let's talk about which brand do I think really won the Superstar Shakeup. I'm giving it to the number one brand, Raw. First off, the phenomenal AJ Styles comes over from SmackDown. He's been running SmackDown for a while. This gets to bring him over to face some new rivalries. McIntyre, Lashley, maybe even a title shot at Seth Rollins. Maybe he turns heel or Rollins turns heel. This could make for some great series of matches with some of these guys that stayed on Raw. So I'm really excited to see what Raw has in store for the phenomenal AJ Styles. Secondly, I am a huge tag team division fan. And Raw won, in my opinion, by adding the tag teams they did. They brought over the Usos, who are one of the very best true tag teams of all time. They get the NXT Tag Team Champions, the War Raiders. And yes, I'm going to continue to call them the War Raiders, and I will get to that later in the show, so you better keep watching. They get Aleister Black and Ricochet, who not only could be a phenomenal tag team, but these two individuals could be great solo acts as well. So I really like what Raw did by adding some of those guys. They added Max Boy on Andrade. He has some things coming for him. On Monday Night Raw, he beats the Intercontinental Champion Finn Balor on his first night on Raw. Big things coming for him. They add Lacey Evans officially chooses Raw. Gonna go against Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title. Big things coming for Lacey Evans. Huge fan from what I've seen so far. So all in all, I really like what the Raw brand added. Yeah, they lost a lot of talent, but what they added was the things that they lacked the most. They really lacked a tag team division. They really lacked that guy to kind of take over and run the brand, because Brock Lesnar should have been that guy, but he was never around. So you got AJ Styles coming in here to run the place. And I'm really excited to see him do that. Not only did they bring him, they also brought The Miz, who could run a show on his own. He's done it time and time again. So some of those names are really why I'm excited and why I think Raw won the Superstar Shakeup. Mac, let's hear your thoughts. You got Raw or SmackDown?
I see you got your pizza rolls, your Mountain Dew. I'll pass on that. You don't keep a figure like this doing what you're doing. But that's besides the point. Who won the shakeup, you ask? Raw won the shakeup. Why? It's the main show. An extra hour, more talent. The big boom effect's always on Raw. It's been a show longer than SmackDown. So why wouldn't they put more effort into the A show? This happens all the time. Nothing new here. SmackDown is getting better. Don't get me wrong, they're getting better. They acquired some talent. They've had some talent. Shane took over. Things was on the upside. I don't know. But all in all, it was Raw. It's going to continue to be Raw. Maybe when SmackDown, they're going to Fox. I don't know if you knew that or not. It's a bigger network than USA. Maybe they're holding out. Maybe they're going to do bigger things once they move. I don't know. I don't care. Alright, so that leads me to talk about who benefits the most, superstar-wise, from the shakeup. So the answer's clear. It's me. I'm just playing. My first pick for beneficiary of what we just witnessed on wrestling, it's going to be Andrade Cien Almas. And I'll tell you why. That man is on the come up. He's a former NXT champion. He hasn't lost very many matches since coming to the main roster. He's charming. He has a manager to make up for his lack of English. She speaks for him. She's also very attractive. But in the ring, he handles his business. His first night on Raw, he beat the Intercontinental Champion. His last night on SmackDown, I'm pretty sure he gave Rey Mysterio a run for his money. All in all, he's beaten AJ Styles before. He's beaten the Daniel Bryans. They move him to the main roster, and I bet you we're going to see this guy blossom. Now, I've got a second pick, and I've already mentioned his name. It's AJ Styles. He says he built SmackDown, the house AJ Styles built. Okay, whatever. But he's pretty good. Now he gets to come over to the main roster. The main show, that is, the A show in Raw. And really go against some top names that you're probably familiar with. I'm pretty sure he'll see John Cena again. You know, he might see Brock Lesnar again. He's going to fight people like Seth Rollins. The Miz is now on Raw. That might be somebody he goes against as well. But all in all, AJ Styles is a very familiar name in wrestling. He's established himself as a top card guy, and now he's on the top show. So, for that, I say he benefits. Then, my third pick is going to be the Usos, one of the best tag teams of all time. The Usos, they've had the tag team championships in SmackDown quite a few times. SmackDown needed their help, pretty much. So with the shakeup, I guess they're going to repay the Usos for their time served, like jail, and bring them back over to the A show, where they can really thrive and make more historical moments against some of the newer teams like the Viking Experience. I know Richie loves that. Don't you, Bubs? Yeah, so that's my picks for beneficiaries of the shakeup who got it the best in my eyes. Bubs, what you think, dog?
I hear you, Mac. I hear you. Got some great points there. I like it. I'm going with Finn Balor as the person who benefits the most from the shakeup. And this is why I think Finn Balor. Finn got put on this Raw show with some monsters. You have Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. These are huge guys that could physically just dominate Finn Balor in the ring. You bring his Intercontinental title to SmackDown, where he can now have some really strong matches with some guys more his size. Did you guys see that match on SmackDown against Ali? Holy smokes, that was awesome. I want to see more of that, right? Then you got other guys like him and Kofi could go at it. Both super energetic, high flyers, big finishers, great performers. That could be something that could be hype. Daniel Bryan, not a huge guy, also does a lot of those awesome things in the ring and outside the ring that Finn could really benefit from having a rivalry with someone like Daniel Bryan. Then you got Samoa Joe, the United States champion. Are they going to unify these two titles? This is the first time in a long time that the two mid-card titles are on the same show, which is really interesting to me. Him and Joe, even though Joe is a bigger guy, Joe can do some things in the ring that could really be beneficial for Balor in having a rivalry with him. What I think is interesting is I think Andrade should have a shot at Money in the Bank for that title. He beat Finn Balor Monday night. That might be a way to keep that title on Raw once we get to Money in the Bank. But yeah, I think Finn Balor can really benefit from a change. He was kind of getting lost in the shuffle on Raw. So I'm really liking and excited to see what's going to happen with Finn Balor, his Intercontinental title, coming over to SmackDown with some athletes and some other performers that I could really, really enjoy watching what the WWE does with Balor here in the near future. Oh boy, where do I begin? Who got screwed the most from the shakeup? I'm going to be flat out and tell you. The War Raiders getting their name changed and getting a new brand, a new image, which they didn't even get a new image, but the new name change, like, that is a joke. The Viking experience, that sounds like a ride at an amusement park for kids. Get out of here. They are the War Raiders. They're already over. They're already one of the best tag teams out there. And you guys are going to bring them to the big show only to give them this stupid, stupid name change? The Viking experience? Vomit in my mouth. This is what I don't understand. Like, why the change? They are the War Raiders. Everyone knows them as the War Raiders. There's no reason to name change them at this time. It's not like they were getting forgotten on NXT. They're the NXT Tag Team Champions, for goodness sakes. And they come to Raw, who doesn't have a strong presence in the tag team division, and you give them a name change like the Viking experience? Like, that is a joke. Even the announcers Monday night had a hard time. They were just like trying to explain to us, like, even they were like, oh, these guys used to be called the War Raiders, and now we're going to be calling them the Viking Experience because they live a Viking lifestyle. Like, whoever wrote that script just needs to be gone. It's terrible. I can't stand it. They are the War Raiders. War Raiders. I hope that the WWE Universe chants War Raiders every single time they have a match. I'm not kidding. The Viking Experience is their tag team name now. That sounds like a ride at an amusement park. I can't get over this. I'm so furious. I almost threw something at my nice TV when I saw that. Like, oh my gosh, why? The WWE already has a problem, in my opinion, when they bring these people that are over on NXT, that have proven themselves time and time again on NXT, ex-champions coming over to Raw or SmackDown, and they bring them to the big show, right? The big show, when NXT, they do their thing. They bring them over to the big time, right? To the big leagues, whatever you want to call it. And the WWE does something that ruins them. They just get lost in the shuffle. Look at what happened to Sanity, right? They were a huge faction and team in NXT, and they get brought over, and they just get lost in the shuffle. I honestly can't remember the last time I seen them in a match, and now it's rumored that they're leaving and splitting up because the WWE did them wrong. They just got lost in the shuffle. I don't want that to happen with the War Raiders. These guys are talented, and they put on a show every single night. And now they're still going to be putting on a show, but now they're going to be called the Viking Experience? It just doesn't add up. Like, WWE, you mess up these guys every time, right? Even with Ricochet and Aleister Black being a tag team, they're putting on good matches. They are working together, which I like. But did they really need to come over to be a tag team? Like, these were two of the top guys in NXT. Now you kind of put them together and they get lost in the shuffle. And I just hope that the best tag team, in my opinion, other than the Usos, doesn't get lost in the shuffle and get made a joke because they made their name this stupid Viking Experience. I I could continue and I could go on, but so I think the War Raiders lost by this because their name change is crap. Makes no sense to me. But the biggest losers, even more than the War Raiders changing their name to the Viking Experience, the biggest losers are the Raw Tag Team Champions, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, because their title run is going to be short. They will not be able to keep those titles with tag teams like the Usos, the War Raiders, Aleister Black and Ricochet. Like, it's over. You do not have a chance to keep those titles with these teams vying for a spot. You're not going to be able to do it. So they're the biggest losers because these other teams are way above and beyond them already. And it's just a matter of time for them to drop their titles to a better team. Usos, War Raiders, who else? Anyone else. These two guys are crap. So those are the biggest losers, in my opinion. Mac, I want to hear who you think got the short end of the stick, other than my guys, the War Raiders, getting their name changed. Who you got? Who got screwed over by this shakeup this year? There's always somebody that gets screwed up and lost in the shuffle, even after the shuffle. So I want to hear your thoughts. Who you think got the short end of the stick, if you will?
Oh, so you got questions for me, huh? That's how we're going to do it? We're going to go back and forth like that? That's all good. So, who do I think got screwed the most? Which superstar? Well, I'm going to go ahead and make that plural. Superstars got screwed the most from the shakeup. I'd have to say the Viking Experience. I'm going to agree with you on that. They were the War Raiders. They were pretty dang good. They caught my attention, and it takes a lot for me to see somebody and right out the gate know they got something going. So they became the tag team champions after I started watching them. I don't recall them losing those titles. With that being said, they put on a hell of a match every time they do their thing. So they're very memorable. Once something becomes memorable, you don't need to go and change a good thing. What happened was they brought them up to the main roster, and they changed these guys' names individually, and they changed their tag team name as well. I don't understand why. A lot of us won't ever. These guys are super talented. They hold their own against anybody. And it doesn't matter how many tag teams you put them against. They're bigger guys. They do a lot of agile stuff. Their moves have that boom effect to it. And it's almost makes you wonder, like, did he really just need that guy in the face? So, even though they got big things coming their way, now that they're on the main roster, with the name change and all, every time they bring somebody up to the main roster, in my opinion, it doesn't always go so well. WWE doesn't give them the right push. They kind of just throw them out there like, all right, here you go. No. If that's the case, you could have left these guys down in NXT. They were doing just fine. But, yeah, I feel like it was poor planning to just throw these guys up here like that. They had at least 2 more NXT takeovers in them. Now they got to come up here to the main roster if they are no longer tag team champions. The best thing that could happen for them is to fight the Usos. Hopefully they do that. But if that's not what happens, these guys clearly are going to fall in line with all the rest of the NXT talent that's come up and just kind of gone astray.
All right, now, welcome to the Over the Top segment. We got a list of things that's been going on in the WWE Universe. And if I want to talk about it, I will. If I don't, I'm going to throw it over the top rope. Let's start. Sasha Banks rumored to wanting to quit after she dropped the women's tag titles. I'm going to hang tough here. Sasha Banks, in my opinion, is being a little selfish and a brat. Number one, her and Bayley should have never been the inaugural women's champions. Not in a million years, in my opinion, did they deserve to be the very first ever women's tag team champions. And then she's upset because at WrestleMania, They drop the titles to a team that is actually a team in the Iconics. Sasha, you either need to grow up, get a new gimmick, or move on. We don't have time for people complaining, thinking they're getting the short end of the stick when you've had your chance on top. Okay, I know Mac does not have kind things to say about Sasha Banks. I won't even go there. What I'm upset about is you being a baby and threatening to quit because you were forced to drop the titles. Just go ahead and quit. I don't think many people out there would really miss you.
So we're talking about Sasha Banks quitting? I'm gonna hang tough on this. I know JT loves him some Sasha Banks. And I'm sure there's plenty of boys and girls out there that love them some Sasha Banks as well. For me personally, she makes too many mistakes in the ring. Sometimes she gets fumbled on her words on national TV. That's not what does it for me. What really kills it for me about Sasha Banks is that she went out and said that she's the greatest female wrestler of all time. And that's just not true. I get being confident. I get hyping yourself up so you can rise to the next level. But I truly believe that when she looks around that women's locker room, she's like, I am better than you, and you. And it shows. Only person that can do that is me. She is no me.
Luke Harper leaving WWE. I'll throw that one over the top. Don't really want to get into that right now.
Luke Harper decides to depart. I'm gonna hang tough on this as well. So, the history of Luke Harper. They made him a tag competitor all this time. I don't know. He's doing pretty decent as a tag competitor. But the thing is, Luke Harper is a pure wrestler. He looks a little funny. He's all big and receding hairline and beady eyes. And they played into his character role. They did it real well. Because he was supposed to be this crazy guy that didn't talk much. We didn't really know what was up with this guy, but when he came around, you knew that somebody was probably going to get hurt. So, he should have been a singles competitor. He had a great rivalry with Randy Orton in the past. That's where he really got to show us his abilities. And I feel like he held his own. Whenever you put people against legendary wrestlers and they hold their own, and you want to see more matches from them against those two particular guys, that's a win. But they didn't even fight that much. They put him back in the tag team division and stuff. Then he got hurt. He came back, held his own in the Battle Royal at WrestleMania. That's it. He's gone. So they didn't use him right. Just the same thing I was saying about these NXT people. That's what happened to Luke Harper. They didn't use him right. He knows his own worth. And now they're going to miss out. It's a shame.
Sanity splitting up. I mentioned a little bit earlier in the show. Throw it over the top. Nothing much more to say there.
Sanity splitting up. Over the top. Eric Young's good. Sanity was good in NXT. But since coming to the main roster, yeah, I'm good on that.
Chad Gable possibly starting a solo career on SmackDown. I'll hang tough for a second here. I think Gable is one of the better athletes in the WWE. I really do. The problem being is the WWE doesn't know what to do with him. You know, they've had him tag team reign after tag team reign with various partners. First it was Jason Jordan. I thought they were great together. Then they put him with Shelton Benjamin for a little while. I thought they were alright, pretty good. Then they put him with strange combination, in my opinion. They put him with Bobby Roode. I don't really think that tag team worked. So I'm really interested to see what they do with Gable as a solo artist. One thing I think they could do, which I think would be interesting, is if he could go on 205 Live to start this solo run, maybe challenge for the Cruiserweight title. So maybe find a spot for Chad Gable at 205 Live, because he is a great in-ring guy, great athlete. I really like some of the things he does. So very interested to see what that solo career possibly, we don't even know. He could be finding another partner out there. No telling what the WWE is going to do.
Chad Gable, solo career. Hang tough or over the top? You want to guess what I'm going to say? Over the top. He's good in the ring. He's pretty good in the ring.
Big E's injured. We'll throw that over the top for another night.
Big E got injured. You heard about that? Over the top. He might come back solo. Get well soon, big fella.
Ronda Rousey leaving to start a family. I'll throw that over the top. Nothing much to say there.
JT. Another one of your people's leaving. Your girl Ronda Rousey. Heard she's gonna start a family. Over the top. Thanks for coming.
The Road Dogg resigned as one of the lead writers on SmackDown. I'll hang tough here for a second. I don't really know what's going on with the WWE. Vince is kind of having his hand in everything again. I think Vince knows what worked in the past, and he's just trying to redo some of those things. Like now he's involved with Roman Reigns coming to SmackDown, Roman Reigns with the Superman punch. So I'm afraid that they're just going to try and recycle some of those old storylines where, maybe Roman Reigns is supposed to be the new, Stone Cold type who faces off against the boss, and kind of like Becky did with Stephanie. So I really am not sure what's going on with the WWE, but I don't like it. Road Dogg, one of my favorite guys ever. Oh, you didn't know? One of my favorites of all time. So hate to see that he resigned, but maybe somebody new like myself could get hired and really turn this thing around. That would be ideal. Well, ideal for me anyway.
We got a bunch of naked boys around the Capitol floor. Anyways, Road Dogg, Jesse James. Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody. You know the Road Dogg. Hall of Famer, DX. Apparently he's been a creative writer and he's leaving. I didn't know he was a writer. So, you know what I'm going to say? You know what I got to say about this? Do you? Over the top!
Roman's feud with Vince. I'll throw that over the top. I mentioned it before.
Roman Reigns. A rivalry with Vince McMahon. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Another attempt to get Roman Reigns over the top.
Lars Sullivan. I don't really like the guy. I think so. I'm gonna hang tough here. Talk a little bit about Lars. I don't really like the guy. I don't really know what he brings other than the same thing that Braun Strowman used to do. Once again, they're recycling the same stuff. And I think it's odd that the announcers always make this point to say, like, this dude's huge, look at this monster, he's a mammoth. Like, is he really even that big? I don't know. He always picks on these little guys like Rey Mysterio, really old Kurt Angle. So I don't really know the guy or care much for the guy, so he can get thrown over the top too. All I care.
So much random stuff up here. Kind of like Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan. Hang tough here. Hang tough real quick. Vince McMahon has a thing for big bodies. He has something for big men. Regardless of their talent, if you have wide shoulders, big biceps, and you can make a mean face, he's probably going to give you a chance. Lars Sullivan is just okay. I watched him in NXT. He was cool there because, you know, you don't got very many specimens like him. Specimen. But it's the main roster, so there's plenty of big guys. He doesn't seem like he has very many promos. He doesn't talk much. He comes out there, they're like, look at the skull on this guy. I mean, yeah, he's on steroids. I really don't like Lars Sullivan. I would have thrown this one over the top because I don't like him, but I just wanted to voice my disgust for him taking somebody else's role. He's taking somebody else's spot that deserves it. And he beat up my guy Rey Mysterio last week, and I don't appreciate that at all. We need to band together with our brown brothers. I stand by that. So SmackDown is going to move to Fox. Prime time. Over the top.
SmackDown could be leading to be the premiere show once they come October on Fox. That might be what the WWE's leading here, being it on major network television. I guess this week the Shield's going to have the Shield last chapter on the WWE Network. I'm still not sure if this is real. Maybe this is all a ploy. I don't really know. Maybe Dean is leaving. I find it really hard to believe that Dean would leave at a time where his wife is now one of the top ring announcers with the WWE. So it's really strange, the timing. It's weird that they're doing this, really hyping up this final chapter on the WWE Network. Maybe something happens where it's not going to be the final chapter. I don't know.
There's a lot of names in here. Can't say that I'm quite fond of the police, but a lot of these people, they lost their lives serving a cause, protecting the public, and for that, I pay my respects. They represent the real Shield, the documentary on the WWE Network about the Shield final chapter. Over the top. I'm not very interested. I've never been very interested. The Shield, you know, I'm a little older now. That's for the kids. I'm a traditional wrestling fan. I've never been a big fan of trios. Individually, they hold their own. They're losing Dean Ambrose. Are they really losing Dean Ambrose? I don't know. But like I said before, Not interested. I don't like the whole bulletproof vest. We're gonna be like they remind me of police brutality. Let me just put it that way. They come out there in like a half-ass SWAT uniform and beat up on guys. It's not a good look. Luckily, wrestling's predominantly, I won't get into that. Over the top.
That was our little top segment, Over the Top. I talked about some of the topics I wanted to talk about. Other ones, get out of here. We'll talk about it at another date, or we won't. So, hope you like that Over the Top segment.
I'd like to thank you all for joining Bubs and I, Mac for short, on another episode of Over the Top. Stay tuned for things in the future, other things we have planned. Until next time.
Alright, everybody. Once again, thanks for watching another episode of Over the Top, Mac and Bubs. Yours truly, Bubs. Hope you like what we have to say. Hope you like how we do things. Any suggestions are more than welcome. Comment below. Hit us a like. Hit us a share. Be on the lookout for more different and new and interesting projects that we have coming out from Immaculate Tone Productions. Until next time, see ya.